Mr. X with the Extreme channel, and as usual we have a couple things going on. First, I'm wearing a really ratty shirt. It's torn up. We'll get to that later, so that's going to make you watch more. Second, I'm really excited because we have an awesome character here. This is from Marvel. This is Bullseye. If you don't know who Bullseye is, he is Daredevil's main enemy, and this is a portrayal of Denzel Washington as he played it in the Marvel Daredevil movie. And I just couldn't be happier. It is spot on. It's exactly what you think of when you think of Bullseye. And I'm excited. And I'm really excited too because I wonder how many of the DC Dick Riders watching were just freaking out. So let's get into this awesome Bullseye statue review. Mr. X with the Extreme channel here, and I'm really excited. I have a new piece in. It's been out for a while, but I just got him, and I got him for some weird reasons. So first of all, this is by Prime 1 Studios. This is 1/3 scale, 1/3 the size of what he would be in real life. Deadshot from not only the DC universe, but specifically from the cinematic Suicide Squad movie portrayed by Will Smith. I purchased him because you guys know that I'm a Dick Rider for Prime 1 1/3 DC. I think it's some of the best statues out there in the game. So that's one thing that's going on. The second thing, as I talked about in the intro, I am wearing an all torn up, nasty shirt. That's because this is what I wear when I'm at home. Shirts like this. Shirts that I find very comfortable, shirts that I like. And I know you're thinking, Mr. X, you have, abundant resources, thousands of dollars and other stuff. Why not buy a new shirt? Because I don't want to. So deal with it. I don't wear this in public. I would if my wife would let me, but so that's what's going on here. I'm ultimate comfort for you guys today. Extreme comfort, let's say. But anyway, this piece was made by Prime 1 Studios. They made 850 of them. 500 were the regular or collector's edition, and 350 were the exclusive. Traditionally, Prime 1, Sideshow, a few other companies make a regular version and an exclusive and or deluxe version. The exclusive version traditionally contains an additional piece, sometimes at an additional charge, sometimes free. This was free. Well, no price difference. And the additional was this swap out head, which we will look at closer. They retailed for $975. I got him directly from Prime 1, economy shipping. Shipping was $38 on him, which is fantastic. I had to wait a number of months. However, I recently had a conversation. Hang on, Kleenex break. I'm not going to edit it out because I don't like to edit that much shit. I hope you enjoyed that. I recently think I may have figured out through the help of Todd Johnson what is going on with Prime 1 economy shipping. As you guys know, Prime 1 opened economy shipping, which said it would ship 1 to 3 months after it was released. And everyone assumed that, okay, they're going to stick it on a boat, it's going to come by sea, they're going to use a middleman or build their own warehouse in the US, and that's why it's so much cheaper and why it takes so much longer. However, this is probably my 15th piece I've gotten economy shipping, and every single one was actually shipped via air, DHL, FedEx, UPS, and it's 2-3 days air. So it just doesn't make sense. Some of them came 2 weeks after I ordered them, some of them 3 months. Well, I was talking to Todd in New York, and he said they're probably using, and I don't know much about logistics, but they're probably using a daily bidding factor. So with some of these companies, you can essentially bid every single day and try and get the lowest rate possible. And they probably do that daily, and sometime in that 3-month window when they get that acceptable price, whatever that acceptable price is, they ship it out, which makes total sense. So that's probably what they're doing while they prepare a US warehouse. Again, that's just speculation by speculative fiction and me. But yeah, so that's what's going on there. And again, I purchased him. He's going to go in the DC room with all the 1/3 pieces. Let's talk about Suicide Squad for a minute. I didn't like the concept of the movie. I didn't like the villain. I didn't like the plot. I didn't like the villain, or the, I wouldn't say the villains, but like the lady in charge. I really dug the characters. I dug Killer Croc, I dug Deadshot, Harley Quinn, of course. Margot Robbie did awesome. I'm hesitant on the Birds of Prey movie. And Will Smith, I think, is one of the most amazing actors. He's probably in my top 10. I'm actually going to do a top 10 actors in the next month or two. I have so many ideas drafted for videos, just tons, and they just come to me at weird times, usually in the shower or on the toilet. But so I decided to get it because I think the likeness is amazing, and I didn't think Prime 1 would fail on a 1/3 DC piece. And they did not. Let's get the dimensions really quick before we move on. Make sure my microphone's on. It is. So wide, he is 14.5 inches wide. I'm betting the depth is about the same. Well, it's 13.5. Height, he's just over 30. For exact dimensions, please see Sideshow or Prime 1's website. Sideshow did distribute this. Now, conceptually, they actually did an entire line with this, but they didn't include all the characters. They did Deadshot, Harley Quinn, played by Margot Robbie, and the Joker, played by Jared Leto, who gets a lot of hate. And some of it I don't understand why, but that's another day. And they all had very similar bases. The bases were all like this. They had chains because they were all locked up and let out of jail to an extent. They all had their own emblem at the front, like he has his Deadshot symbol. And then moving up on a very concrete base. And they were all museum poses where they were standing there. Museum essentially means they're taking a picture. Museum is opposed to dynamic. They're in the middle of an action. And they used a scene right out of the movie here where he held his gun traditionally whenever he walked. He walked with his gun like this, so that's spot on. And one of the things we didn't talk about in the background info is they offered 3 head portraits. So let's look at those really quick. First is the exclusive one I talked about that has Will Smith's face. No other gear on the head, and this likeness is spot on. It's fantastically done. We'll talk about it in paint and sculpt. Then the other one is where he has his scope just around his eye, and it kind of changes daily what my favorite one is. This one was used in the movie. And then the last one is his masked version, which is most accurate to the comic of all these. And he used this briefly in the movie, if I recall, right at the beginning, when they were kind of telling his backstory. So the other thing on here, there's ammo all over the place. He has a bat target practice because Deadshot is a Batman enemy. And he's fully decked out. He has all of his guns and ammo. I mean, how many? 1, 2, he has 4 different guns on him. And then maybe 5. No, 4. And then clips of ammo. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He has 8, 9, 10, 12, 14 clips. Keeps adding up. And I guess in the background, let's just talk about it in the design. So piece-wise, the base was 1 piece. Batman's target practice was another. Everything was magnets or keys. All of his ammo and guns around his side were another one. His hands were another one. The gun was another one. And obviously the portraits were another piece. Now, one issue I may have had during shipping, I can't really tell, but underneath one of the guns, it looks like one of the pouches broke off, and I couldn't find it anywhere in the box. So I don't know if that's a flaw in manufacturing. I have no idea what that is. And to be frank, it doesn't really show, so it's not worth my time to try and figure out. I'll probably go through the box again one more time. So I like it. I think it would look much better if we had the other characters with him, which both of those I think look great, but I have the Sideshow premium formats of those versions. And for space purposes, I just don't want to get them. And it surprises me they didn't do more in the line. They also did Batman. I forget that. They did a Batman Suicide Squad where he has his respirator where he went underwater. Yeah, so they did that version as well. They did 4 of them, the 4 biggest, most popular characters from the movie. But they could have done a Killer Croc. They could have done, many of the other villains. I'm drawing a blank on their names right now. But let's jump into the sculpt and paint, and that's where I think this is kind of a museum piece. If you really like Will Smith, this is a piece for you. If you're a huge fan of that film, which I haven't met a lot of them, but this is a piece for you. If you're looking for a 3rd scale Deadshot, even though this isn't the comic version, this is for you. Or if you're just looking for a really cool statue, again, this is for you. Where I would say it's not for you is if you're trying to collect a traditional 1/3 comic scale of DC characters. But let's look at why it's so good with the base. Starting at the base here. At the front, again, you have the Deadshot symbol. Kind of a picture of a skull with his eyepiece, his scope on his eye. And then you have everything on here is sculpted. The locks and chains symbolizing his prison that they got him out of. And there's barbed wire and pipes and tubes, and it's all on this black sub base with metallic corners, kind of a rust and scratch effect. And as I said, it follows the rest of the line. And on the sides you have a little bit of what you have in the front, and it's great paint. I like the purples that they added to the metallic colors in there. Really makes it pop. And then moving to the back, you have kind of this brick wall, like a prison cell. The back of it would be a brick wall, and it appears there's bullet holes all over this, and it's really done well with the texture and the paint and the cracked pieces. It looks like what a prison wall would look like, or a target practice. And then here you see Batman, the Batman target practice. And again, this is not from the movie, but I like that they added it, kind of an Easter egg you really don't see. And there's only a hole in his head because it's Deadshot and he hits dead right away. And then here you have his ammo. This took me a little bit to figure out where it went. And this is actually plastic, but the paint job on it is really, really good. I think they did a nice job, and it's a cool effect to add to the statue. Then the bottom of the base has his bullets everywhere. As I kind of said in the concept, are the casings, the shells, and it's this granular type base. Looks really good, great texture. And it's got this green, kind of limestone green color mixed in with the traditional black and gray cement colors. And then take a look at his boots. Fantastic boots here. Really makes you think of work hiker boots. They look real. They look like real 1/3 version of boots. These are almost boots you could buy for a kid. They're high tops, kind of hiking boots. There's great texture in here. The laces look great. And there are a multitude of shades of black, even though black technically doesn't have a lot of shades. Great tread, great design, laced all the way up. And on the left one here, you see a knife in its sheath. Really, really cool. And then moving up his pants, he has baggy pants, and they did a great job sculpting it. Not only are they baggy, but there are tons of pockets with buttons on them, and there's this cool texture. It's kind of a linear texture. On the pants it goes horizontal, on the pockets it goes up and down. And this is a really dark gray, but as you see, tons and tons of folds to the sculpt. And as you move up, you see his knee pads that he uses as a sniper. These straps on it look real, the buckles, and it's a slightly different color than his pants. And then on the front is his traditional red, really dark red here, faded with black. You can tell his knee pads are used a lot. There's definitely a joke in that. And then his crotch area here, again, you see more straps for some of his holsters and his other devices that he is, clips that he's holding up. Will Smith has no package on this statue, but again, really folded, really texturized pants. And then take a look at his guns here, all over. Look good. They don't come out of the holster or anything. That almost looks like the man with the golden guns gun. And clips for his rifle. Again, very faded, so it doesn't look brand spanking new. And then around his belt here, again, his belt has straps and buckles that are holding up other parts of his costume. And you see guns on the back. These metallic guns. Reminds me of Nicolas Cage in Face Off, and all these clips on the front. All these straps, I really love them. It really looks like mixed media. And then checking out his rifle here, looks really good, and all over the statue is kind of his catchphrase, is that "I am the light, the way." So that's on his rifle, it's on his collar. I believe I saw it somewhere else. But a cool mix of colors really make it pop, the gold and black and red, and again, it's very faded. I am not happy with his hand sculpt on his hand that's wrapped around the front of the rifle. His fingers are mixed together. I think that's a fail. That's very unlike Prime 1. Also, because it's not the translucent resin that they use on his face, it just, the skin color looks off. But his gloves look really good, all the way up his wrists to his elbows. Again, they're strapped in there, and there's this new red color with some texturized aspect to it, the padding on these gloves. And he has more guns on his gauntlet type gloves there. Again, the same red and black and gold colors with I am the light, the way. And then moving up his arms, this is that same texture. It's a totally different color. It really makes the statue pop. I'm not a fan of it as an overall design, but I like how it adds to the statue. And then it looks like there's texture on there, but it's very micro because you can't feel it. And then his shoulders and his arms, he has body armor there. Looks really good, again faded like his knee pads. And that same body armor is on his front. A little bit different color, but he's completely plated all up in the front, and there's definitely some weathering and scarring in there. Good paint on it. And then I want to look at his back. So on his back, this, I don't know if this is body armor or this is something that powers his guns, because it's really, really thick and it's in a unique place. It's essentially covering his spine. Maybe someone can comment on that, but there's some textured like grates on it. And then let's look at his portrait, starting with the exclusive portrait. So the only thing I don't like about this is he looks very sad, like he did in his acting career when he found out his dad didn't want him in The Fresh Prince. Some of you know what I'm talking about. But look at this likeness. It is 100% accurate, or 99% accurate. Really well done. Maybe Will Smith is easy to do. Some actors are harder than others, like Daenerys. No one can do her. Starting at his head, look, so this isn't sculpted, this is paint on his head, but you see his follicles coming out. Looks really good. However, his eyebrow and beard is sculpted on there. And classic from the movie, really well done. I mean, this sculpt must have taken forever to get it right, the individual hairs. And I love the skin color they used for Will Smith, a lighter black guy. Looks really good. They even have his beauty mark there, mole, under his left eye. A little bit larger nose, his classic ears, and his eyes look real, very lifelike. Good paint and sculpt around his lips. And then looking at his portrait that has his scope on it, so his expression is a little bit different. He's a little bit focused, and I feel like this is directly from the movie. Same sculpt around his hair, but his eye expression is a little bit different. His lips are pursed more together. And that scope, not only on his eye, but it wraps around his entire head. Looks really cool. Definitely the exclusive is my least favorite portrait. And then looking at the masked version, great stitching and coloring and texture on this mask. I really, really like it. Looks really good. And then I like it. I think that's a gun in his eye. Not someone who knows Deadshot better can let me know. This is an actual gun in his left eye. And then you can see his right eye through the mask. I like that detail. Again, it looks very real. And then moving down on some of these, so I'm the light, the way is on his collar, as I said. And then you see here are additional portrait stands that it came with that have bullets on the bottom of it. Really cool. They did this with the whole line, I believe. So let me know in the comments what pieces you've bought that you know didn't go with the rest of your collection and you had no intention of pairing it with anything else. That would be a neat topic. So really appreciate you guys watching. Please subscribe if you haven't. If you want to see me in ratty clothing reviewing statues that are worth 1,000 times more than my shirt. Yeah, we're going to keep pumping it out, guys. I'm trying to think if that's what she said. She probably said, please don't. Some of them, it's too much. Take care.